What's going on, everybody? It is Sunday night, and this is a special Movie Idiot open spoiler discussion for Marvel's WandaVision. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. Obviously, episodes 1 and 2 dropped last week. I wasn't able to get an open spoiler for that, so episode 3 dropped this past Friday, and we're going to do open spoiler discussion tonight about all 3 episodes, 1, 2, and 3. I want to talk about all of them. Obviously, we're going to focus a little bit more on 3 just because that's the more recent one, but we're going to talk all things WandaVision. So, guys, get on here, hit me up in the comments. That's what we're going to do. Before we do that, though, I got to go over all the, basic stuff about the show, right? So, this is an open spoiler discussion for Marvel's WandaVision. What does that mean? That means, guys, that I'm talking openly about the things that are going on the show. So if you don't want to know or you haven't seen it, check out now, come back later after you have, and watch the video. If you have seen it and want to talk some open spoiler discussion of WandaVision, this is where you want to be right now. So we're going to be doing that shortly. We are streaming live right now on YouTube, on Facebook Live, and on Twitch. And you can comment on any and all 3 of the platforms in the comments section below if you want to jump in anytime. I want to hear from your guys' thoughts on the show. So hit me up in the comment section below with your thoughts on anything that we're talking about WandaVision. Also, and the best way, really, to interact with the show is through the tip link. Tip link, that's not the one. Let's try this one. The tip link, streamlabs.com/movieidiot. That's the best way because when you use the tip link, you are supporting the show and you're helping build this amazing, fun TV and movie fan film community that we're trying to build up here. So, now that I got all the business stuff out of... Oh, one more thing. I always forget this part. Don't forget, of course, guys, subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff. Just like I said, we want to get all of our friends in here talking all this cool stuff, so make sure you guys do that as well. All right, now that we got all the business stuff out of the way, we're going to dive in to this show, this beautiful Marvel WandaVision. So basic premise of the show, and you could get this even from the trailer, right, is they're kind of taking Wanda and Vision and they're throwing them in sitcoms throughout the decades. It started off in the 50s. So you got your Dick Van Dyke kind of thing in episode 1. Episode 2 was more of the 60s. So that was your Bewitched episode in that. And then episode 3 was the 70s where you were getting your Partridge Family and you're getting your Brady Bunch and that kind of stuff. So it really is each episode moving throughout the decades. Let me start with this, with WandaVision. I feel like there are 2 kind of groups on WandaVision here. So, Group 1 loves this show and is eating this up, and this is crazy and different and holy cow. And Group 1 is loving it. And then there's Group 2 who hates this show. And there are a lot of people out there who really dislike this show. It's very different. WandaVision is very different than any MCU thing you've ever seen. So if you go into this thinking this is going to be your typical MCU fare, this is not. Now, we always hear, everybody's like, oh, man, Marvel's the same. It's the same formula all the time. Let's do something new. Marvel did something new and different that has not been done before in this medium. So for that... and that alone, I will say, and I will give them full marks. Marvel came out and they really tried something completely different with this show. It's pretty fun. Let me start with that. It looks like the actors on this show are having so much fun with it. They're enjoying going through these eras in television and these eras gone by, your Dick Van Dyke era, your Bewitched era, your I Love Lucy era, your Partridge Family era. And while they're doing it, they're just having a blast. all of the episodes were filmed in front of a live studio audience. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's a laugh track." They did have a live studio audience while filming. Now, I don't know if they kept the live audience as the laugh, the background laughing you're hearing, or if it is a laugh track. I'm not sure. What I do know is when they filmed it, the actors were performing for a live studio audience, and it looks like they're just having so much fun with it. I'm really enjoying it, but I can understand why people aren't. And there definitely are some people aren't. And let me bring this up here so you guys can check this out. So I brought this up on the main show too. Rotten Tomatoes right now, the score. The critic rating is still holding at 94%, which I don't think the critic rating is going to go anywhere unless this show really starts to tank on the back end. But your audience score has slowly dropped every time I've done a show about this so far. So it was started at 81 for an audience score, and then it dropped to 80, and now it's dropped to 79. The score is slowly dropping. What does that mean? Well, I think with this show, it means at this point people are ready for the show to kind of get to the point. It's cool and different and fun, and they're having some fun with it, but at the same time, when are they going to get to we still don't know what's going on. We're 3 episodes in, and we have no idea what's going on with this show. And I think that's starting to wear on people. And I got to tell you, it's starting to wear on me a little bit. I enjoy the show. I love all the campy fun that they're having. I loved the first 2 episodes. The 3rd episode, not as much, but really it's just because I have a bias against 70s era TV, not my favorite era. So not the show's fault. That's just something that doesn't work for me. But even by this 3rd episode now, I'm like, okay, this has been fun and this has been cool and I've been liking this, but we really need to start getting to the point. And I think they are. If the other thing you can track through each episode is this. In episode 1, it was almost all sitcom. There was one scene in episode 1, the dinner table scene, where the boss and his wife are there, and he's at the dinner table, and all of a sudden something goes wrong, and the boss starts choking, and the wife of the boss is like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. She kept doing that, and then Wanda's like, Vision, help him. And that's the only time they broke character in the whole episode. Episode 2, there were 2 moments like that where they broke character. Episode 3, there were more moments where they broke character or they broke, kind of the rules of the world. And you're starting to see more and more. So the world around them is slowly, each episode, crumbling down. And again, I want to hear what you guys think on this. Hit me up in the comments below. Talk to me, people. I want to get your guys' opinion on it. So the world around Wanda and Vision is crumbling around them. And each episode, you see that curtain getting pulled back a little more and a little more and a little more. I loved in this 3rd episode how Herb, the neighbor Herb, he's out there like trimming his hedges and he's like literally cutting through a brick wall. And Vision's like, "Oh, what you doing there, Herb?" He's like, "Nothing. Just nothing. I'm good." And he's blatantly not good. And then they have the super awkward conversation with Agnes and him and Vision. And they want to tell Vision so bad. They want to tell him, this isn't right. Something's wrong, but they can't. And they don't. And this whole time I've been thinking too, you know what, I'm going to hold off on that comment. I'm going to go through what I'm going to do. I'm going to break down each character individually. So I'm going to hold off on the comment I was just about to make. But the other thing is, and you saw it in episode 2 and you saw it in episode 3. On episode 1, it seemed like, and the way they kind of promoted this whole thing is that, Wanda and all of them are trapped in there. I'm starting to think all of them are trapped in there with Wanda. I think Wanda's the one trapping them. And I'd love to hear if you guys think the same thing. I'm sorry, my nose keeps itching, and I don't know why. I apologize, guys. Okay, anyway. I want to know what you guys think. So comment below. Let me know what you guys think, man. Do you guys think that they are stuck in there with Wanda? Or do you think Wanda and all of them are stuck in there? Because it's blatantly obvious at this point that Wanda can control this world. The end of episode 2, she sees the beekeeper. She rewinds and goes back to the point where she was just having her moment with Vision. Episode 3, Vision's starting to figure things out a little bit, figuring out that something isn't right, and she just flips it. It was almost like a bad VHS tape. I loved how they did that. That was really cool. It just kind of blipped, and then Vision's back, and they're having a different conversation. So anytime Wanda sees something she doesn't like, she blips it, including at the end of episode 3 when she shoves Monica Rambeau out of the whole damn bubble or world or town that they're in, literally throws her out. So Wanda is definitely in control of this world. It's just a question of, is she the one making it and forcing everybody to stay in there, or is she trapped, but within that bubble sphere, she controls everything? I think we're going to get a lot of answers in the next episode. And I feel like I said that for episode 2, or for, going into episode 3, I should say. But I really feel like in episode 4, we're going to get a lot more answers. It's blatantly obvious now that S.W.O.R.D. is a big part of this show. So if you guys don't know what S.W.O.R.D. is, in the comics, there was obviously S.H.I.E.L.D., and then there was S.W.O.R.D. So S.H.I.E.L.D. was more like protecting the Earth, and then S.W.O.R.D. was more cosmic. They protected outside of the Earth and in space. So it is blatantly obvious now. You see the S.W.O.R.D. logo on so many different things. And so it's blatantly obvious at this point that S.W.O.R.D. is a part of this show in some way, shape, or form. We just don't know how. So I'm curious to know that. That's one of the questions that needs to get answered as well. What else? Oh my God, the commercials. Every commercial I personally think is a hint towards something or an homage towards something. It's one of the two. But the commercials are great. They're great and terrible at the same time. Like the Strucker watch commercial, like your 2 favorite accessories, your lovely lady and your Strucker watch. Oh my God. I'm like, oh, this is exactly how commercials were back then. Cringe. Yeah, so I think they've done an amazing job with that. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start going into character studies here of the characters on the show. And again, guys, if you're watching, chime in. I want to hear what you guys all think. So I'm going to go through most of the main players of the show and what their kind of role is. And I'm going to start with Agnes. So this is Agnes. Agnes is played by, hold on, let me pull it up here, Catherine Hahn. So, Agnes. Now, there are lots of speculations on who Agnes can be. In the comic, there's a character named Agnes who's a witch and has a lot of ties to the Scarlet Witch, which is, of course, Wanda. Agnes also has ties to somebody named Mephisto, who is basically like the devil in Marvel Comics. If you see this brooch here that I'm kind of circling, actually I could zoom in on that. There you go. See if you can see that. There's this brooch. Oh, no, hold on. Let me back out and see if I can get it. Well, you can't. Anyway, if you see this brooch here, Agnes in the comics wears a brooch. And so far that brooch is, I believe, in all 3 episodes of WandaVision. So I think something's up with Agnes. The question is Agnes good or bad? What are her intentions? That's the big thing I want to know. Guys, comment below what do you guys think of Agnes? I want to hear, so hit me up in the comments, man. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think she's bad? Do you think she's good? What are her intentions? What is Agnes trying to do in this show? That's what I want to know. That's a question I'm proposing to you, the fans. What is Agnes's intention? I think Agnes is evil. I think Agnes is a plant of some kind, and I think she's one of the ones who's manipulating Wanda to create this world. And I think she's manipulating the other people in it and making them afraid. Total guess, but that's where I'm thinking. So, that being said, she's hilarious in this show, too. I love all the jokes about her husband, Ralph, which a lot of people have speculated that Ralph is Mephisto. So, yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to know. And, of course, we have not seen Ralph at all. Ralph doesn't show up on screen yet. So that could really definitely tie into it. It's very possible that Ralph actually could be Mephisto and Agnes is this witch. I'm curious to know. I'm kind of buying into that, and I think Agnes is the kind of an antagonist, if you will. She's the one, I think, who is prodding Wanda and making Wanda do this and kind of trapping everybody in here. So that's my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts on Agnes? I want to hear from you. Hit me up in the comments below. Talk to me. Tell me what you think. Do you think Agnes is good or bad? I want to hear from you. All right, we're going to move on to the next character that I got going on. So the next character we've seen before, but when we last saw her, she was a little girl in Captain Marvel. And this is Monica Rambeau right here. And Monica Rambeau is played by Tiana Paris. Tiana Paris. So, Monica Rambeau. Now, she, in the first episode, I don't even think she was in it. Or she was. It was just a blip. The second episode, she had a bigger role. So she ended up being the one who was kind of helping coordinate the magic show or the talent show thing, and then she ended up being in their magic show, which, dude, the magic show for Wanda and Vision in episode 2. I'm gonna go on a little rant for that. That was hilarious, and that Paul Bettany was so great in that scene. Oh my god, dude. Okay, so the scene, of course, setting up where they had to do the magic show for the talent show for the children. And I believe that's also some kind of like underlying current in this show as well. So when they have to do the talent show, they're doing the magic show, and then they ended up getting like Monica Rambeau's character. She ends up getting stuck in the chest or whatever, and because Wanda ends up snapping her fingers and putting her in there, and she gets done. She's like, I was backstage, and then I was in there. I don't know what happened, you know? So she thought that was weird. Well, episode 3 took that a whole nother level, because all of a sudden we find out, or we all of a sudden see, we basically see that Monica Rambeau, there's something different about her than everybody else. And you get that scene where Herb and Agnes are talking by the fence, and they're talking about her. And they're like, what do you know about her? And Vision's like, I don't know. And they're like, she's got no home. She's got no friends. She's got no family. She's come from nowhere. And just as you're seeing that, then it gets over to Wanda. And Wanda's talking about Pietro, her brother. And then as she's doing that, all of a sudden, like, Monica Rambeau kind of snaps out of it a little bit. And she's like, you mean the one who was killed by Ultron? And then Wanda freaks out, and that's when she throws her out of the thing. She realized Monica Rambeau isn't there. The other thing she saw was the sword logo on the necklace. So I think Monica Rambeau is an agent for SWORD, and she was planted in there. And she was sent in there to try and figure out what's going on with Wanda. So that's my guess. Now, I don't know for sure, but, you know... Hold on, sorry. Anyway, I don't know for sure, but that's my guess. I think that Monica Rambeau is a plant. So, total guess, though. So far, I like the character, but obviously there isn't a whole lot of depth to her. I think there's going to be a lot more. So that's kind of where I'm at on Monica. What do you guys think? What do you guys think Monica Rambeau's role is going to be in this show? Do you think she is also an agent of SWORD? Do you think she's a plant in there? Do you think something else? Hit me up in the comments. I want to hear what you guys think about Monica Rambeau's character, and I'm going to move on to the next character that we got. Now, the next character I'm going to talk about has a small role in the show, and that is Dottie. So we don't even meet Dottie until episode 2. We meet her husband in episode 1, and we're going to talk about him after this. But we don't even meet Dottie till episode 2. But Dottie is this, like, stuck-up housewife who just kind of controls all the other housewives, and they all look up to her, and you can't get anything done without Dottie's consent or permission as a housewife, whether it be, like, PTA or chairing committees or whatever. And I hate Dottie's character, first of all, but not because I don't think she does a good job. I hate her because I'm supposed to hate her. She's a piece of shit. I don't like that kind of character. So for me, it's like, I don't like you. But that, I don't know. That's just how I feel. But that being said, Dottie hasn't done a whole lot, but I do feel like Dottie's going to play a big role. And I think Dottie's going to be kind of that unsung hero type where you don't see it coming, but somewhere out of nowhere, Dottie's going to end up saving Wanda or Vision or both in some way, shape, or form, or saving somebody else from Wanda. Because, again, And we'll get to that. I have a theory about Wanda too. So, but yeah, so Dottie hasn't done a whole lot, but I do think that she's gonna play a pretty big role when it's all said and done. What do you guys think? Comment below, people. I want to hear your thoughts on Dottie. Do you think she's got a bigger role in this? Do you think she's just kind of playing her bit part and that's it? Hit me up in the comments. I want to hear what you guys got to say. And again, like if you got just general comments about the show, please, guys, comment. I want to hear. And of course, you can always send in a tip to the tip link as well, streamlabs.com/movieidiot. All right. So we're going to move on to the next person that we're going to talk about, the next character. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. Needed to lubricate again. Okay, so the next character we're going to talk about is Dottie's husband. And Dottie's husband is... What's his name? Hold on, I got to pull up his name here really quick. Phil. There we go, Phil. So, and that's this guy right here. That's Phil. So, Phil is Dottie's husband. Again, a guy who has not played a lot of parts, but the stuff he's done has been kind of comic gold. So like in this scene that I got pulled up right here, that's where the boss, Mr. Hart, is talking about how he's coming to Vision's house and how he was at somebody else's house and ended up being his house, Phil's. And Phil ended up getting fired because he didn't do well enough with the dinner. He's like, well, what'd you have? He's like, we had a 4-course meal. And the boss is like, yeah, and he had that stupid excuse for entertainment. He's like, it was a 4-string quartet. And he's like, and that beatnik outfit. He's like, I wore a turtleneck. It was hilarious. And this actor does a really good job with it. A lot of people keep saying he kind of looks like David Schwimmer. I don't know about that, but I think I do know where I've seen him. Actually, I have the IMDb pull up. Let's just check this out really quick while we're doing this. So, Phil, David Lengel. Let's see what his IMDb says. What has he done? Richard Jewell, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no. I feel like there's something. Let's go back a ways. Balloon Stream Pandemic. Oh, maybe not. I thought he was the guy who played in like, he was kind of like a comedy dude, but it's not the same dude. So never mind. Forget that. Okay. So anyway, but Phil. I kind of like Phil. Phil's good comic relief. I don't think he's going to have much bearing on the show per se, but I do like him because he's kind of funny and fun. So that's what I think about Phil. Not a whole lot more to say, but like a lot of the best comic relief parts come with him. So I wanted to include him in the characters that we go over. So what do you guys think about Phil? Do you like the character? Do you not? Do you think it's like no big deal, whatever? Comment below, and we'll move on to the next character that I wanted to talk about. And that is this guy right here, Herb. So here's Herb, and then this was from episode 3. So this is where Herb is cutting through the fence, is like I told you, the concrete fence. And Vision's like, what you doing? Or it looks like you went too far. He's like, oh, it does, doesn't it? And he just keeps on cutting. Herb's character, I think, is going to have a bit more involvement in this show before it's done. I'm guessing, anyway. The thing with Herb, he wasn't introduced. I think it was it episode 2? I think it was episode 2 when you met Herb. So he wasn't introduced till episode 2, but it just seems like his character as a whole pulls a little more clout in the neighborhood than others. He's obviously kind of leading up the neighborhood watch where Vision dropped in on. That was in episode 2. And then, again, he's having Agnes is having the conversation with him about how things aren't just right. But you don't really hear them saying it, but you can totally tell that's what they're talking about. And especially when they do start talking to Vision about Monica Rambeau. So I just think that Herb, before this is all said and done, is going to have a bigger role. Right now, he hasn't had as big of a role, but like it just seems like before it's over, we're going to get a lot more out of Herb. So what do you guys think, though? Do you think Herb's going to have a bigger role? Do you think he's just a player in this game? Hit me up in the comments. I want to hear that. And, I'm going to move on to the next person to talk about. And now we're going to get into our 2 main characters. And we'll start with Vision. Paul Bettany in this series is awesome. I don't know how else to say it. He is awesome. I am seriously enjoying the hell out of his portrayal of Vision and what Vision is supposed to be in this world. The big question, of course, is what's he doing there? Isn't he dead? We don't know yet. I don't know if this is the real Vision or if this is a construct or something of Wanda. Did Wanda just make him up? Or is it really him? Unsure. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. But I'm super curious to find out. And they've done a great job of not tipping that off. We have no clue if this is the actual Vision or not. I initially was thinking no. And please comment below if you got whatever you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you guys think that it's actually Vision or do you think that it's not? I definitely want to hear. I initially was thinking, no, it's not. It's not Vision. But there's only one other character that gets followed around in this show that isn't Wanda, and that's Vision. Vision goes to work, and you follow Vision to work when Wanda's not there. That makes me think that maybe it is. Maybe it is actually Vision, and somehow, some way, she brought him back to life. I don't know. I'm very curious to find out. What I do know is, honestly, Vision is my favorite part of this show. He's hilarious. The comedic timing is unbelievable for all the sitcom-y stuff, but then when it has to get serious, boom, gets serious, and he's really killing it. Vision, Paul Bettany playing Vision in this show is amazing. And again, my favorite part so far of the show is Vision for sure. I also know that whether he's real or whether he's not, Wanda is controlling him. So anytime he questions anything about the world, she resets the world. So Wanda is in full control of him and the world that she is in right now. So yeah, that makes me think that, he's not real and that it's not really him. And that it's a construct either in her mind or she created him. Again, I don't know. But that's the cool part of this show, and that's what I like about it. And I know a lot of people don't, but I really do. I like trying to figure it out and trying to take all the little clues that you're getting from here and there and piece it all together. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I like the Vision character. Again, it's my favorite character in the show right now. So, and I do kudos to Paul Bettany because Paul Bettany has been killing it on this show. So, all right. And that brings us, of course, to the final main character. And you guys know this is Wanda. Wanda drives this show. There's no doubt. It's called WandaVision, but Wanda is in control. In every way. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, you gotta stretch. I've been sitting on the couch watching football all day, so I'm a little stiff. Okay, Wanda controls this show. She runs it in every way. If something doesn't go her way, she rewinds it, resets. If she doesn't like somebody, she throws them out. She creates everything in the world. She changes everything in the world. She controls everything in the world. But the way I'm taking it is that she is slowly discovering this control. I don't think she knew starting from episode 1 that she was in control. It seems to me that she is discovering the control that she has. As she discovers the control she has, she pushes it even farther. There are curious things, though. Episode 3, when the stork appears, she can't get rid of the stork. She tries, and the stork won't go away. She tries, and the stork won't go away. That's very curious, because everything else in the world she has had control over, including time, but not this stork. And I thought that was kind of funny. Also, pretty much everything that happens in the show is based around her. So even the commercials. If you break down the commercials, the first commercial being the toaster from Stark and it's blinking, a lot of people are saying that that's kind of reference to the bomb that her and Pietro were sitting by, and how the bomb, they were just waiting for it to go off. Well, that's what they think that is. The second commercial being the Strucker watch. Well, of course, they were created by Strucker. via his experiments. So her and her brother got their powers that way. So that's obvious. The third one, the Hydra soap. Again, Strucker being with Hydra. It's all related to Wanda. Wanda. This show is about Wanda. It's Wanda-centric. There are some things that I love. Like, Elizabeth Olsen is doing such a great job with the campy, sitcom-y voice from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I really hope she kind of starts to get out of it pretty soon, because in the 70s one, so episode 3, it seemed very out of place for me. The first 2, it worked. The third one, I was like, not so much, but she didn't use it as much either. And then you saw her really get kind of out of that and into herself more as she was talking about Pietro and whatnot. Obviously, in episode 3, the babies come. So she's pregnant for all of 8 hours and ends up having twins, which I knew she was going to have twins. So they stayed true to the comic in that way. A lot of this show is based, of course, in my opinion anyway, based, of course, on a lot of what happens in House of M in Marvel. Now, House of M is very much, make no mistake, a very X-Men-oriented comic. It is very mutant-centric. She is, of course, in Marvel Comics, a mutant. Her powers were not given to her by some experiments. But, obviously, this is the MCU, which is not the same. It's based off of Marvel Comics, but is not the same. So I think they're going to follow parts of the storyline of House of M, which includes Mephisto and Agnes. So I think we're getting some of that with this, but I don't think we're getting all of it. I think there's going to be some changes, and I do not think at the end of this episode, because what happens in the comics, spoiler alert, if you don't know what happens in the House of M in comics, you don't want to hear it, mute for a second, okay? And go. In the comics, for House of M, Wanda eliminates all but 198 mutants in the world. Like that. She's no more mutants. Boom, and they're gone. She has that kind of reality power. Okay, safe to unmute if you... So anyway, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do what the comic did there at the end, but I think something drastic will happen. I'm starting to think, especially the way Wanda is acting, that Wanda becomes one of your main big bad villains for the MCU as a whole. She's obviously shown to have that kind of power. She's obviously shown that she can control a reality. Maybe this is just the test run. Maybe this is Mephisto trapping her into this town, getting her to really bring out all of her power. And, like, let's say the kids, because they just had the kids. Well, what if the kids aren't really real? And then she loses the kids on top of already having lost Vision, on top of already having lost her brother. And that's just the extra snapping point that she needs, where she literally just resets reality. We also do know that this show is going to be tied to Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. So there's a lot going on here, and I think it's deeply rooted. And yeah, I have this weird feeling that she might turn out to be the main villain before it's all said and done, or one of them. Maybe not the main baddie, but one of the main villains before this is all said and done. What Marvel Comics likes to do is they love to have, as much as they love their superhero teams like Avengers, they love to have their villain teams as well. And what we didn't get in the first 4 phases of Marvel, or whatever it was, where, the Infinity Saga, Thanos was the baddie. He was the be-all, end-all baddie. This could end up being something different, where you get a conglomerate of very powerful villains who join together, and it's going to take a conglomerate of very powerful heroes to rise up and then meet that. And one of them could be Wanda Maximoff. It could be. And that's kind of my guess on where this is going, but I could be totally wrong. It's just a guess. So that's kind of what I think. Let's see here if I missed anybody. Now, there are some characters that are coming that we haven't seen yet. So, Randall Park, he's the guy, the agent of not the agent of Shield, but the FBI agent from Ant-Man. So every time they kept like having to check on Ant-Man and the Wasp, where they kept checking on him, did he escape? Did he escape? Randall Park is that guy who is that agent. We haven't seen him yet. He's the actor, actually. Jimmy Woo is the name of the agent. Darcy Lewis, who is played by Kat Dennings. She was, of course, in Thor 1 and 2. She has not showed up yet. We have not seen her. Trying to see if there's other people here. For the most part, the rest of them, yeah. For the most part, that's pretty much everything. But those two characters are big characters. Big characters. So, and it tells here on IMDb, it tells you how many episodes they show up in. So, like, let's see here. Kat Dennings is supposed to be in 6 episodes. So, if she's in 6 episodes, we haven't seen her yet at all. So, she's got to be coming up because we're already 3 in. So, and then again, also Randall Park. So, Jimmy Woo is supposed to be in 6 episodes. If he's supposed to be in 6 episodes, we haven't seen him at all. So, there's a lot yet that we haven't seen here. So, yeah, so that's kind of everything I got. And I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Hit me in the comments below. Again, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming live on Twitch. So if you are watching, comment. I want to hear from you. I have a few tip comments here I'm going to go over. So the first one, Del Mackey tipped in. My guy, Del Mackey, tipped in. He says, as much as I like this show, it really needs to start getting somewhere soon. I agree, Del. I really like this show. I've enjoyed it a lot, and it's been a lot of fun for me. I love kind of reliving the TV eras. I can't wait till we get to the 90s and the 2000s. I think I'm going to really enjoy that when we get there. But I do think that they need to start, and they are, but I think they need to expedite it a little bit. Either make the episodes longer and include more about the outer world and what's going on, and start cluing us in a little bit more. Because at first it's cool, and hey, there's something wrong. But now it's like, okay, what the fuck is wrong? We're past the point of, oh, this is curious. Something's not right here. No, it's like, no, something's not right here, and we need to know. So I agree. I agree with you, man. I think they need to kind of get to the point a little bit. So that's I agree, Del. So thank you for sending that in, Del. And let's see what else we got here. Bick Mitchum says, not gonna lie, this show hasn't done a whole lot for me. I'm only sticking around because I'm hoping it gets to more MCU roots soon. And Bick, you are not alone. Literally, and I think that's why you're seeing, again, I showed you guys before on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience rating is going down pretty much every episode. So as this show is getting circulated, the audience rating is starting to go down. What I anticipate happening is once this rubber hits the road and things flip, the ones who stuck around, that audience rating is going to start shooting back up. I think there's a lot of setup. It's slow setup. It's a slow burn. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, and I really hope that the payoff's worth it, but I really think it's going to be. I really, really do. So, but I feel your pain there, Bick. I really do. And let's see. I got one more tip comment here, and I don't see any other comments. But, again, if you're watching, comments. I want to hear from you guys. So if you're watching, comments. I want to hear your thoughts on WandaVision. Let me see here. Nick Papagiorgio writes in, says, I'm still loving the show. I hope it can keep this up and add some of that MCU flavor into it. I don't trust Agnes either. I'm there with you, Nick. I don't trust Agnes. I think Agnes she's the one kind of manipulating Wanda, I think. And I think she has a damn good reason she wants to do it. And I think we're going to really find out a lot more in this upcoming episode. I think that's when we're going to really get into everything. I think they're really going to pull back a lot of that curtain, and we're going to find out what's going on with that. So that's my guess as well. Again, Nick, I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of the people who started this show and were enjoying it have kind of started to enjoy it a little less because we're at a point now where we're like, okay, you got to get to this. And the people who didn't enjoy it either have checked out or they're like, dude, you really better get to something or I'm going to check out. So at this point, and I think they're smart, dude, in Feige, I trust, okay? I think they're smart enough to now get to a point where they're like, okay, let's drop the bombs now. And we kind of saw that a little bit at the end of episode 3. That was a point where you saw Monica Rambeau. She was found out as not belonging, and Wanda threw her ass out of the town and out of the bubble. And then you saw all the sword agents come and, like surround her. So now we don't know if she's with Sword yet, but she had the necklace on, so I'm guessing she was. So we're going to find that out, I'm sure, in the next episode. I think the next episode is really going to start explaining a lot. If it doesn't, I think you're going to get a lot of people who are done. And this show really needs to get to the point soon, or I think they are going to lose a lot of people. The nostalgia factor of, oh, this is sweet, and they're copying the different eras the TV is wearing off fast. And again, I've really enjoyed all that, so I'm not trying to poo-poo. For me, all that worked, but at the same time, knowing that that's all a fake world, what the hell is going on? I've gotten past a point now where, like, I'm all about that nostalgia factor and whatever. I want to know what the fuck is going on in this show now. So that's how I feel. Yeah, and that's kind of it. So let me see here. I don't see any more comments. I don't have any more tip comments. Don't have any more live comments. Let me check on Facebook really quick and see if anybody, because a lot of times I'll share this on my personal page and then people comment on that. So let me see if I have any comments there. And it doesn't look like it. Okay, guys. Well, that's going to do it then for this week's open spoiler discussion for WandaVision. That was episodes 1 through 3. I'm going to kind of close with this. Again, I want to say I have enjoyed the show, and I do like it. But as I keep stating, I do think at some point, very, very soon, they need to get to the point. They need to now then start getting to the point of the show and really get into the nuts and bolts of it, because I think they're going to start losing people soon. I'm the guy who's going to watch the whole damn thing regardless, but I think they're going to start losing some of that general crowd that they really want to pick up. I do think it's a fun and a very different approach to a show, especially for MCU. I think it was ballsy, and I really applaud that approach. But at the same time, if you don't start switching it over or explaining at least what is going on, that the choice you chose to be different isn't going to work anymore. And I think if you really look at it, it's not meant to. The world that Wanda has created and the world that they're in it's not permanent because it's not real. It's going to fall apart around them. So I do think we just got to stick it out, guys. I think we got to stick it out, and I think the payoff, and again, in Feige I trust. I should get a shirt. In Feige I trust. In Feige I trust, god damn it, and I think this is going to pay off. So that's where I'm at, guys. I want to thank you guys for chiming in. I'm talking to Nick Papagiorgio. I'm talking to Big Mitch. I'm talking to Del Mackey. Thank you guys for sending in comments today. I really appreciate that. The main show, of course, the Movie Idiot Show, will be back on Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be doing that for at least the next couple of weeks, so make sure you check out the main show next week. And, and look, if you guys are watching this post-live, still, please comment below in the comments, or you can always send in a tip comments, again, 24/7 to this link right here, streamlabs.com/movieidiot. You can send in tip comments all week, and I will answer them, of course, on the main show. And yeah, I want to hear what you guys think about WandaVision. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are, so hit them up in the comments below. And again, if you comment below, I will talk about your comments on the main show next week. So we will probably be doing an open spoiler discussion again next Sunday, but I don't know what time yet. So I will keep you guys posted on that. And yeah, that's it. So, one more thing, guys. Don't forget, of course, like, subscribe, share, and all that fun stuff, because again, we're trying to build an amazing film fan and TV fan community here, so I really appreciate it if you guys do that as well. And again, I appreciate you checking out the show, and I am out of here. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I hope you all had an amazing weekend, and I will catch you all on the main show, the Movie Idiot Show, live on Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on the Movie Idiot channel. I'm out of here. Peace.